What's up, everybody? Hope you are having a wonderful day. This is Sunny Solanki, and in today's video, I'm going to explain how to create multi-page dashboard web app using Python dashboarding library Panel. We'll be using Panel for creating layout of the dashboard and adding widgets to it. For visualization purposes, we'll be using a Python visualization library Hvplot that let us create interactive charts from pandas data frame with just one line of code. Now, first of all, let me show you how our dashboard will look like. So let me move on to the first page. So this is the first page of our dashboard. It's the image of our first page. So as you can see on the top, we have a header. So you can include text, whatever you want to include. You can also include icon if you have a particular icon which you want to include for your web app. And then we have a 3 lines. So this button can be used to collapse this sidebar, as you can see. And in the sidebar, I have 6 buttons. So these 6 buttons are links to 6 pages. So when you click on that particular button, the content over here will change. And this is the first page. So in this first page, I am displaying the summary of the dataset that we are going to use. So I have decided to use a famous Vine dataset, machine learning Vine dataset, which is available from Python library scikit-learn. The dataset has information about 13 ingredients used in the creation of 3 different types of wines. So this is the dataset of our dashboard, and I will talk more about this dataset later. So this is the first page. Second page is a dataset page, as you can see over here. Over here, I am simply displaying our dataset as a table, and you can scroll and take a look at the various values of this dataset. So that's the second page. Third page is a distribution page, and on this page I have a distribution. So this is a histogram, and there is a widget over here. So this widget is a drop down, and it has list of ingredients. So you can select a particular column or ingredient from this list, and the histogram of that particular column will be displayed over here. So you can explore distribution. So that's the third page. Fourth page is for exploring the relationship between the features. So you can select any ingredients, and over here scatter chart showing the relationship between the 2 ingredients will be shown. And for x-axis, you can select ingredient from this drop down, and for y-axis you can select ingredient from this drop down, and then the chart will be created, and points of the charts will be colored based on categorical variable, which is a Vine type. So there are 3 values, so points will be colored based on those values. So that's the fourth page. Now the fifth page, let us explore the average values of selected ingredients for wine type. So this is the grouped bar chart, and from here there is a multi-select. You can select various columns of our data set or ingredients. So over here, as you can see, I have selected 4 ingredients. And for those 4 ingredients, what is the average values of those ingredients is present over here. So for class 0, what is the average values? For class 1, what is the average values? For class 2. So you can do comparison over there of the average values of selected ingredients. So that's our fifth page. And sixth and the last page is a correlation map. So over here, I am showing the correlation heat map between all the ingredients of our dataset. So yeah, that's the dashboard that we are going to create. Now let's move on to code explanation part. Then I will run the server and bring up the dashboard and show you how it looks like. Alright, so I have kept the code for our dashboard in this file named dashboard.py, and the total code of the dashboard is present in this only one file. So as you can see, there are 130 lines of code, and I was able to create a dashboard in 130 lines of code. So let me explain you the code. At the beginning of the notebook, there are few important imports. So first of all, I am importing panel library spn. Then I am importing this function load vine, which will let us load our dataset. Then there is import for pandas, and then there is an import for hvplot. So I am importing hvplot.pandas. And what this will do is that it will let us create interactive charts from pandas data frame. So it has same API as pandas plotting API, but pandas plotting API using matplotlib to create charts, so the charts will be static. But this one will create charts using bokeh, hence charts will be interactive. Next is the code to load our dataset, these 3 lines of code. So first of all, we are calling this function load vine. and it will return wine object, which is a kind of dictionary object, and it has a data. So then I am creating our wine df data frame using pd.dataframe function. From wine, I am calling data, so it will return all the data features. Column names are given using feature names. And then I am adding one more column named wine df using wine.target. So that has a target name, which is a particular wine type. So let me go to Jupyter Notebook and show you how this dataset look like. So as you can see over here, I have executed same lines of code and created the wine dataset. And as you can see, the data frame has the header alcohol, malic acid, hash, magnesium, and so on. So these are the ingredients used in creation of different types of wine, and their row values are the measurements of those ingredients. And the last column is wine type, this one, which is a categorical column, and it has three values: class 0, class 1, and class 2. So that's the only categorical column. All other columns are continuous columns. So this dataset will be used as our primary dataset. Below, I have created one more data frame using our original wine df data frame, and this will be used to create a group bar chart, which I explained. So what I am over here doing is that I am grouping the entries of the dataset based on wine type, and then I am calling the main function on it. So I have average values of ingredient per wine type. So as you can see, for class 0, what is the average value of alcohol, class 1, what is the average value, and so on. And that average values will be available for all the ingredients. So we can use this one to create an average group bar chart. Next, I have defined 4 functions. So these 4 functions will be used to create 4 different charts of our dashboard. So the first function is a function to create a histogram, and create his function takes a single argument. So that's the name of the column. So whichever feature we want to create a histogram of. And then over here, I am calling winedf.hvplot.hist function. So this hist function is called on our winedf data frame, and it will create a histogram figure and return it. So for y-axis, I am giving whatever the selected column is there. And then I have specified bin size, which is 50, and height, and so on. So this will create a histogram and return it. Next is a function to create a scatter chart. So it takes 2 arguments, what column you want to use for x-axis and what column you want to use for y-axis. It will use scatter function on winedf data frame to create a scatter chart. We give x-axis value, y-axis value. Color will be color parameter is wine type. So it will use wine type column values to create points of the scatter chart based on that column's value. And then I have provided a few other parameters, useful parameters. Next is a function to create average bar chart. So over here, I have created average wine df data frame, which I explained. So the data frame has average values of ingredient for wine type. And now I'm calling this bar function on that average wine df data frame. And this function accepts select columns as a parameter. So this select columns is a list of ingredients. So this will be list of strings, and those columns will be used over here for y-axis, and for x-axis the wine type is used. So what this will do, it will create a group bar chart for this average wine data frame and the selected ingredients. And the fourth function is create correlation heat map. So first of all, I am creating over here wine correlation data frame from our original wine df data frame by calling core function on it. And then for creating chart, I am using a heat map function. So, and then I have provided a color map as well. So I'm calling a heat map on this wine core data frame. So these 4 functions will be used to create a 4 chart. Every time these functions will be called, which will create a particular figure and return it. And that figure will be displayed in the dashboard. Next, I have declared various widgets and callbacks that we are going to use for our dashboard. So first of all, I have declared 6 buttons. So these 6 buttons are the buttons which will be displayed in the sidebar. And when we click on these buttons, the page will be updated. So let me show you the dashboard again. So these are the 6 buttons. So yeah, you can create a button using pn.widgets.button function. You can give the name of the button, whatever is the button type, so you can provide styling details, and you can also specify icon. So if you want to know what this icon is, file info, so it's a string for that icon which will display the info like icon, and you can go to this link where the list of icon names are present. And then I have provided styling details. I have asked it to use the full width of the sidebar. Next is the list feature. So this widget is a drop down. So pn.widgets.select function. Let us create a drop down. And for options, I have provided wine.future name. So list of columns of our data set, all the ingredients. So this is the drop down for histogram. So let me show you again. So this drop down is created. Next, two drop downs are created for scatter chart. So it will be created using same function, select, and for x and y axis names are given. Option will again build the list of ingredients, and for x axis the default value will be the first ingredient. For y axis I have provided the value malic acid, which is the second ingredient. Then so that's the widgets for our scatter chart. Over here I have created a multi-select. So this is the widget for our average bar chart. So let me show you. So this multi-select we will create next. So we can create a multi-select using the function multi-select. So name is given, options are again list of ingredients, and value this time will be list of ingredients. So I have selected three ingredients: alcohol, malic acid, and ash by default. So this three ingredient will be used to create our initial group bar chart. Next, I have declared a function. So this function is a callback function for all the buttons. So as you can see over here, for all the buttons, I am calling this on click function, and over there I am providing the callback information that should be called. So each time show page, this show underscore page function will be called, and argument will be given whatever is the page name. So page 1, page 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So every time you click on the button, this callback will be called, and what this will do, it will clear the main area. So this main area, whatever value is over there or whatever layout value is over there, it will be cleared first, and then the new value will be appended. So new page will be appended, and that page information is available in this dictionary. So I will be calling this dictionary mapping of page key. So if page 2 is selected, then mapping of page 2 will be called. So let me show you there. So as you can see, this dictionary is declared below, mapping page 1, page 2, and the value of each of that keys are again a function, and those functions declares various layouts for those pages. So let me explain you those functions one by one. So whenever someone clicks on any button, that this functions based on that particular button will be called. So first function is create page 1. So this will create our first page. So first of all, I am creating a simple string. So this string, what I am doing over here is that our wine dictionary object, which we loaded earlier, the dataset object, has this attribute named descr, which is description about dataset. So I'm simply retrieving some string from the dataset and creating the new string by replacing new lines. And then over here, I'm calling this pn.column function. So it let us create a column like layout. So whatever you add over here, widgets, they will be kept in a column like fashion. So the values or whatever the widgets or charts you add over here, they will be added one below another. So over here, I am simply calling the pn.pan.markdown function. So it will create a markdown using our description. So this will create our first page. So let me show you. So it will create this particular first page where we are displaying information about our dataset. Next is create page 2. So this one will create our second page. Again over here I am using column pn.column to create the layout of that page, and for pn, first value of that is markdown simply. So that will be the header which says dataset explorer, and then I'm calling this function pn.pane.dataframe, and this function accepts original wine df data frame. So it will display our data frame. So that will be the second page. So it will be this one, which will be used to explore our data set. Third function is create page 3. To create a third page, again we will use pn.column. First of all, we have included a header for that particular page. Then I have included list feature. So this is the drop down. And then I have included chart by calling this function pn.bind. So pn.bind, first value to pn.bind function is our create hist function. And the second value is our widget. So what this will do is that create hist function, if you remember, it accepts one argument, and that argument will be linked to this particular widget. So whenever widget value changes, this function will be called with that widget value, and whatever chart is created, that will be returned and displayed over here. So that's how page 3 is created. Next is page 4. So again, same the layout pn.column. First there is a header, then there is a row. So there are two drop downs for creating scatter chart, x-axis drop down and y-axis drop down. So they will be kept next to each other. And then again I am calling pn.bind, and this time I am linking create scatter chart function with x-axis and y-axis, these two drop downs. So the create chart function, create scatter chart, these two values will come from those two drop downs. So next is create page 5. So again the same layout pn.column is used. First is pn markdown, and what is the header of that page. Then there is a multi-select, which is a multi-select widget. And then again I have called pn.bind with this create bar chart function, and I have linked it to the multi-select. So that's the 5th page. And then there is a 6th and the last page. Again same layout pn.column. First is header, and over here I am calling the function create correlation heat map. In this case I can simply call this function and don't need to use pn.bind, because it's a static chart. It is not dependent, it's interactive, but from the widget point of view it is not linked to any widget, so the chart won't change based on any widget value. So I can simply call this function. And then there is a dictionary, which is a mapping, which I already explained, which is a mapping from the value of that page to the function. So next I have declared a sidebar. So first of all we will declare sidebar and main area, and then we will add to our template to create the whole dashboard. So in order to create a sidebar, I am simply calling pn.column again, and then I am giving header, and then I have listed all the buttons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So what this will do, it will create this sidebar. You can see pages header will be included, and then all the buttons. And then for main area, I am again using pn.column, column layout, and by default I am calling mapping of page 1. So by default the first page will be displayed. So I have created sidebar and main area. Now we need to create the whole page layout. Now for that purpose, panel provides us with a useful template called a bootstrap template, which will create the layout of the page for us. And we can include details like what we want to use for sidebar, what we want to use for main area, what we want to use for header, and so on. So to this function we will give various values. So title I have given multi-page web app. Then I can provide sidebar. So I have given sidebar as list, which we declared over here. Main is the main area next to sidebar. Then header background I have asked it to use as a black. I can also provide the site name. You can also provide logo if you want. So I have provided logo cc.png, which is the logo of my website. You can also provide various themes. So for this tutorial I have decided to use dark theme, but there is also light theme and many other themes available, so you can explore if you are interested in different themes. You can also specify sidebar width. So the default width is 330 pixels, but it was quite wide, so I decided to use 250 pixels. So now that you have declared the final template, so this is the final dashboard template, and now you only need to call this function servable, and the dashboard will be served from here. So now that I have explained you the code of this dashboard, let's bring up this dashboard and interact with it. Alright, so in order to bring up the dashboard, first of all, I need to start the terminal. So as you can see, I am in this directory, panel multipage dashboard. And in this directory, I have this file name. As you can see, dashboard.py is present in this folder, panel multipage dashboard. So in order to bring up the server, I need to execute command, which is panel serve and then name of the file, which is dashboard.py. And this way we can start the server from where our dashboard will be served. So I have executed that line of code. And as you can see, the server is up and it says that WebApp running at this URL. So let me copy that URL. And let me go to our browser and show you the dashboard. Alright, so that's our dashboard. So let's interact with it. So this is the first page where we are displaying the dataset overview. And as you can see, using this button, we can collapse sidebar and we can enable it again. So that's the first page. Now let's click on dataset. So yeah, so that's the dataset page. As you can see, I can analyze the dataset from here. I can look like what is the various values over there. Yeah, so that's the dataset explorer. The third page is a distribution. So this is the histogram which I explained earlier, and you can select various ingredients from here. So let's see what is values for magnesium. Let's see what is for proanthocyanins and so on. Different ingredients you can select and you can see their histogram from here. So that's the distribution page. Next is a relationship page. So you can explore the relationship between ingredients. So by default, alcohol versus malic acid is there. So let me change the value. Let's change it to ash and let's change it to color intensity. And as you can see, as soon as I change the value of the widget, the chart is getting updated immediately. And as you can see, the charts are interactive. You can see tooltips as well because all the charts are created using bokeh. Next is average features. So as you can see, 3 ingredients, alcohol, malic acid and ash are selected. And the average values of those ingredients is displayed over here in this group bar chart. So let me select one more from this drop down. Now you need to press control key when selecting multiple values. So I have pressed control key and I have selected magnesium. I have unselected it. Let's select flavonoids, and as you can see, flavonoid is over here. Let's select another one, non-flavonoid one. Let me unselect it, and as you can see, chart is getting updated as soon as I select and unselect values. So that's a group bar chart. And the last one is a correlation chart. So as you can see, it's an interactive correlation heat map. And I can hover over any particular square and I can see what is the value over there of the correlation between those two ingredients, like proline and alcohol is a 0.64 correlation, positive correlation. So yeah, that's our dashboard. And if you have any doubts or any questions, then please feel free to let me know in the comment section, and see you next time.